episode recorded without any audio. I have 40 million things to do, and re-recording this episode is definitely not one of them. But wherever you go, there you are. I am choosing to not be frustrated, so good for me. We'll see how long that lasts. Hello, Internet. Did you miss me as much as I missed you? If this is your first time joining, welcome to the Fire and Fiber podcast. My name is Audrey, and this is my podcast where I talk about knitting, mental health, crafting, thrifting, kind of whatever I feel like. It's a very politically charged space in that we believe in human decency and basic human rights. So if that is not your jam, carry on. I am now re-recording this episode because, as is my life, just recorded without audio. I love this for myself. Anyways, I am going on vacation tomorrow evening. We are going to the UK, to England, Scotland, and Ireland. I have 40 million things to do. And so I thought, now seems like the best time to create another video. Today, I'm going to be bringing you a shorter version of a little gift guide. We are going to do some practical knitting, crochet, gift guide items for the 2025 holiday gifting season. There's a couple caveats I need to include with this video before we dive in. I am someone who has very much prided myself on highlighting and amplifying small businesses and independent voices wherever possible. However, that's not always in everyone's budget. Like, big box stores, big retailers, online retailers, they exist for a reason. There are some folks who choose to invest differently in their products, and we're not passing judgment on that, all right? Everyone's got their own journey. We are only responsible for ourselves. I also think it's important to note that a lot of the links I'm going to be providing are affiliate links. Yes, big retail is not good. However, affiliate links do provide a very small portion of compensation to myself and other content creators, YouTubers, podcasters who promote them as well. Again, we're not judging on them. If you saw my last episode, I posted about de-stashing and de-influencing made items, or my pattern roundup. You probably know that I'm trying to keep the budget under control this year. And I know a lot of other people are too. So I wanted to provide a list of things that don't automatically, like, they're not the first couple things you think of when you think of gifts for a knitter, gifts for a crocheter, gifts for a fiber artist. They do have a bit of a range when it comes to prices. There are some items that I will show on here or talk about, but then I will also talk about a less expensive comparable version. Again, we're not judging, all right? There's something for everyone on here, and even if there isn't, that's okay too. If you just want to hear me talk for however long it takes, I'm happy you joined. Get comfy. Let's dive right in. I recorded the last episode before I had eaten lunch, and I was hangry. Now I have a blinding migraine. So this is going to be great. I just took my migraine meds, so fingers crossed they kick in. It is wintertime here in North America. It is cold and dry, and if you are like me, you know that that means dry skin. If you are a fiber artist or you know someone who is, you also have likely heard them complain about dry hands and cracked cuticles and things of that nature. I'm in Ontario. We're in Canada. It's cold. The area that I live in has very, very, very hard water. And so my skin naturally dries out very quickly. Working with fiber will naturally take the natural protective oils out of your skin, whether it's plant fiber, acrylics and synthetics, animal fiber, it doesn't matter. There is some level of dehydration to all of those. So I, in particular, get like one split cuticle every fall. Like, the first leaf turns, this cracks, my whole skin dries out. It's great. Anyone who knows me will know that I am constantly going through hand cream. I'm constantly moisturizing. I have hand cream in every single one of my purses, on my bedside table, in both my offices, in my car, in a bunch of my knitting bags. I have hand cream everywhere, and I've tried a lot of hand creams. I have also recently developed this really great personality trait. It's very charming, where I can't just buy things anymore. I now need to do an extensive amount of internet research to purchase literally anything. So when I tell you that I spent hours researching hand cream, please believe me, it was a horrible use of my time, and I could not stop. Honestly, I feel like I'm turning into someone who reads Consumer Report magazine. Like, I'm this close. Anyways, that's all to say that my internet research led me to this hand cream. So this is by Caudalie. This is a French brand that is sold through Sephora, Amazon, I feel like a couple other online retailers. It is like a luxury brand, I guess. And this is their Venotherapist hand and nail repairing cream. So it nourishes, repairs, and protects. In the last episode I filmed, the one without audio, I thought it was really funny to read all the French first and like totally butcher it, but I'm not feeling that right now. So consider yourself lucky that you do not have to hear that. Again, incredible amount of internet research, incredible amount of time thinking about this. This was rated really highly online, and it is a little bit pricier. It was, I believe, $22 for 75 mils or 2.5 ounces. So not what I would consider to be like a full-size product. By the way, I used to work in cosmetics. I worked at the cosmetic counter for a few different brands in the now defunct Sears. I have like quite a background in cosmetics and personal hygiene items, like skincare items, things like that. This is a paraben-free vegan. I feel like it's like 98% natural. Yeah, 98% natural ingredients. It is like, so this hand cream is great. It has a very, it's got like a delicate floral scent that is not too overpowering, not like old lady florals or in your face, just kind of refined. It almost smells like rose a little bit, like that sort of crisp floral as opposed to like a fruity floral. Very clean smelling. If you're a fan of scanning your products in something like the Yuka app, which is an app that you can scan the barcodes of products on, and it will give you a rating based on safety in terms of the ingredients that are in it. The more toxic ingredients you have, the lower the score. You get the idea. This was rated as 72 out of 100, which is considered in the good or green range for ingredients and product safety. So there's that. The hand cream itself, like I keep this on my bed and I will be taking this with me when I go away. It is not super greasy. It's not super liquidy. It definitely soaks in really well. I did decide to purchase this one specifically because it was targeted towards hand and cuticles. I have a lot of cuticle products and I have some hand products, but I was like, let's try one all together. I really enjoy this. Like I said, it is costly. It's 22-ish, and it can be purchased either at Sephora. I think I got mine on Amazon. But if this is something that you are in the market for, or you know that you go through hand creams like I do, which is to say a lot of hand cream every, not just winter, but like I go through hand cream all year long, this is one I would recommend. Again, nice scent, not too heavy. A lot of products that I find that are targeted for cuticles or hands utilize citrus, and that's great, but it's a really overpowering scent. Like sometimes I don't want orange, lemon, lime, citrus, or they're using a lot of things like almond oil, like really shea heavy, warm, moisturizing ingredients. And sometimes I don't want that either. So this is a nice alternative, especially as that sort of category in skincare, being hand skincare, seems to be really dominated by those scent families. And about the brand, I have tried quite a few of their products. They have a really, really fantastic excess oil absorbing mask that I use on my T-zone. It's like a clay-based mask that just sucks everything out. Really, really love that as well. So again, that is the Caudalie Venotherapist hand cream. This next product, again, isn't, I mean, none of these products I think, and I will tell you on this list are like, you have to have these. Like none of these are all nice to have. These are all nice. It's a gift. It's not a necessity. It's a nice gift for yourself or someone you know. So having said that, the next item that I wanted to talk about is the Coco Knits Maker's Board. This is a bit of a pricier item. It was, I believe, $52.50. And it is a trifold magnetic board that is really great for using for patterns. So as you can see, I've got my patterns affixed here, but I just wanted to show you what the stand-up configuration looks like. I don't typically use it like this, which is why my patterns are on the other side. But this is a magnetic board from the brand Coco Knits. It's covered in this like very, I feel like this is a very on-brand color for Coco Knits. This like neutral light taupe beige. And so the board comes with, so it's like a little folio. It's a paper folio. So I can close it like that or like that, whatever. It does come with quite a few magnets, and these are actually very, very strong magnets. So it's got some of these. But I believe it came with two of these. I believe it came with two of these round little Coco Knits magnets. And I use this primarily for when I am doing either color work patterns or lace work. when I'm knitting and when I need to see row by row what I'm doing. So most of the time when I am knitting something, I will be using my row counter app. I know everyone has a favorite row counter app. I don't necessarily know that anyone is better than the other. I think it's personal preference. For knitting patterns, I use the app My Row Counter, and what I will do is typically import my patterns to it. Unless I'm using Tin Can Knits apps, they have a really great app, and they do have a bunch of free patterns. So that app I could talk about all day because I love it. However, if I am doing just a regular pattern, I still use my row counter app and I'm good. But if I'm doing something that has stranded color work, a chart, anything like that, or lace work, I will bust out this bad boy as well. And what I like to do is affix my pattern. I'm working on the king salmon, among many other things. And so I actually am doing mine in pink, and so I colored mine in with highlighter because I'm an idiot. But anyways, I will attach my pattern, and then I'll use another piece of paper as a row guide. So I will use my magnets, and then each row I progress on, I'll shift it up and up and up so I can just see that row, like that stitch pattern repeat. Some people also really prefer a paper pattern. I totally get that. And this is a really great option for someone who does like that sort of stuff, especially if you're throwing it in and out of your bag. It's nice to be able to fold it up and have your papers kept somewhat safe and secure. I mean, I'm a mess and I forget to do that, so mine's beats crap like everything I own. So the only thing I'll say about this product, I wish it was 20 to 30% smaller. Like I wish it was just shrunk up a little bit, only so that I could put it in my bags a little bit easier. It doesn't always fit in my purse or my project bag, depending on what I'm grabbing. And sometimes I just don't want an extra thing. It is pretty rare that I will go out with my stranded knitting work. Typically, if I'm going out to social or somewhere else where I'm just going to be knitting kind of like on the side, and I don't really want to be knitting something that I have to pay a ton of attention to. So it doesn't leave my house with me very often. But again, that's just me. It currently is like the 8.5 by 11 standard paper size, and that's fine. I'm just saying like preference, right? So again, that's a pretty pricey item. There are quite a lot of alternatives online, particularly on Amazon. The one I listed, it looks like it's a little bit smaller here. Same idea. Obviously, you're not going to get the same color and the magnets look slightly different, but I think it's a really great alternative if you don't want to spend that much. These are about half the price of the Cocoa Knits brand one. The next product I wanted to talk about is in my house somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where. I do need to pack it for vacation, so I will be determining its location at some point, but not right now. That is for future Audrey, not current Audrey. I have seen these listed everywhere, whether it is on local yarn shop websites, in local yarn stores, on Amazon, on Hobby. Yes, it's called Hobby, not Hobby. Like my dumbass thought for the past like 7 years. Anyways, and these come in quite a price range. I've seen them from like $15 to $20 all the way up to like $70, $80. I don't know. Honestly, I don't have too much of an opinion of like cost versus quality versus brand or whatever. I think whatever works for you is great. And these are knitting neck lights. So pretend I'm pulling one on and like, again, mine is somewhere in the house, but I will include some photos. This one on Amazon in particular I thought was cute because it is pink. Sorry, these are USB rechargeable lights that obviously wrap around your neck, as the name implies. They have a little bit of a plastic or rubberized spot that holds it onto your neck, and they actually have like an internal bendy wire almost. So mine has a few different light settings. So mine is individually controlled, meaning I can have one side on and not the other. I can have one side brighter and one side dimmer. I just click through the buttons on mine and it will change the brightness and then eventually turn it off. And I just have to plug mine in and recharge it. If you are someone who, you know, is knitting in the dark, we all knit in the dark. Lots of different reasons. I've utilized this sitting on my porch first thing in the morning when I'm watching the sunrise and I just need a little bit of extra light. What I like about these little lights is that they're little. So you're not using like a big flashlight, a big light. Typically wherever you're using these, you're probably not going to be around other people who want to be disturbed by a very large bright light. So that's what makes these great. Because they've got flexibility, I have used these in a variety of configurations. So I have stood these up, like I've put the base part of the neck on a table and then I've bent the lights up and down to be able to shine on something. I've used them on the side of my bed. I have hooked it over the top of my book before. So they're not just knitting lights. They can be used for a variety of activities. However, that's what we're marketing them as. And like I said, I included this one on Amazon because it comes in a couple cute colors not just pink. So yes, very much a practical gift. I am someone who, as I get older, my eyes are really getting worse. So I definitely need the help with a little bit of extra light. These are also great if you are knitting with very dark or black yarn and you just need that extra spotlight. Great. The next three items I'm going to talk about are all similar items. They're just different. And I first saw this online. Someone was posting about it and I thought it was a really great idea. So the first is a book called 100 Years of Color. It's currently out of stock on Amazon Canada, and I'm not sure when it's going to come back in. But I've seen this book before online, and this is a book that details 100 years of advertising ads or marketing ads and the colors that went with them. So this is a really great idea if you're looking for not only color combinations, but maybe popular ad color combos, or you wanted to look at color combos from a specific time period. I think that's really fantastic. If you're into like marketing or advertising or the history of any of that, I think that's also a really cool resource for that. I have trouble with color combos for lots of reasons. So I really love this book and I am hoping it comes back in stock because I have not been able to find it anywhere. The second book was actually one that a customer brought into the store a few weeks ago and I saw and immediately took a photo of. I thought this was not only a really great gift idea, but also just very aesthetically pleasing. And this is the Dictionary of Color Combinations. It's actually a Japanese book and there is English translations on them. I don't know what it is about this book. It's so lovely. It's so gorgeous. It's so chic. And for me, again, color combos are difficult. So I love the way that colors are paired in this. I also just love like the texture. It's a bit of a smaller book too. So it's really great. Like I said, I was watching a customer hold it and it's really great to just throw in your bag. The nice thing about having books as a resource for color combinations, especially, is that they're portable. You can take them with you and they're not subject to backlighting the same way our phones or tablets or anything like that is. So color is very subjective and it's important to be able to see a color in a variety of lights to know actually what color it is and if your colors match, which leads into the next book titled Interaction of Color. Again, same idea. I am really guilty for not only gravitating towards the same colors every single time, but not having a solid understanding of color theory. And what that means to me is that I love bright, intense colors, and I often will pair them together with no actual comprehension of if they go well together. That's something that I definitely lack. And so all three of these books kind of hit the mark for me in terms of how to determine what colors go together, especially if I'm yarn shopping. I will go into a store and get that hard dopamine rush from seeing all the pretties, and then I very often can't discern what colors go well together. I think these are really great resources to be able to show you color combinations that you wouldn't have thought of. Again, I just go with whatever I think it looks great, and oftentimes I'm wrong. Or I often have trouble determining neutrals, in that I think only black and white are neutrals most of the time. Those are the only ones I think of as like black, white, and gray. Boring. For me, I definitely benefit from seeing examples of color ideas that go together, and oftentimes I completely forget the mission when I'm in the store. The other thing too is that color is subjective. So if you are looking at a pattern or a project that you see on Ravelry or online, and then like, have you ever gone and looked at a color and thought, gosh, that's gorgeous, like I want that thing, and then you go get it and you're like, oh no, or you put it up against your skin and you're like, oh no. Color is subjective, and so it's really important to be able to figure out what works for you and works for your skin tone or works for your preference. Funny enough, one of my children is colorblind, and so I learned a lot about color and how the brain interprets color. So let me just segue into like my little education bit on color. So there are a few kinds of color blindness. There's red-green colorblind, which is the most common. There's blue-yellow colorblind, and then there's like, I think all, which is actually the most rare. Color blindness is also genetic, and it primarily affects the male population. So it's funny that it's called color blindness because color blindness is actually kind of a misnomer. So rather than not being able to see color or see red or green, folks who experience color blindness actually have an inability to differentiate or discern between tones. So what that means is they can actually see more reds, more greens, more blues, more yellows than the average bear. The challenge is that because they can see more color, the divides are not as obvious for them between what is orange, what is red, what is green, what is blue, etc., than it would be for everyone else. It's not that it's a lack of color, it's actually a lack of differentiation. So now you know. I'm gonna put on some hand cream. All right, we are clipping along. The next two items I wanted to talk about are both from Thread and Maple. The first item is a colorwork companion. I love this product, and I'm also a little bit irritated that I didn't think of it myself. This is genius, both in its use and its simplicity. So this is a little strip of leather that's got pre-punched holes in it, and it's got a snap so it can attach to purse, your project bag, anything like that. And how it's used is, if you are doing stranded color work, you feed your different yarn skeins through the holes and knit from it and knit that way. So what this does is it keeps your yarn skeins from tangling, which if you've done stranded color work, you know what an immense challenge this is. I very rarely will bring my stranded color work with me when I knit. I typically knit it at home because I configure setup really intentionally to make sure that my yarn doesn't wind around itself too much or they get too tangled. Especially when I'm trying to be mindful of color dominance, this gets challenging really quickly. So this comes in 3 colors, whiskey, denim, and chocolate, which are like a really warm sort of cognac color. Denim is a deep navy, and then the chocolate is chocolate brown. This product is genius. And I think Thread and Maple as a company as a whole is really invested in creating smart products for knitters. So if you have seen them online at all, you probably are familiar with the tool binder, like the knitting binder. I say knitting, but it's not just knitting. These are really gorgeous handmade leather binders. They're made in the Ukraine, and you'll often see that a lot of their products online are sold out. Thread and Maple sells both online and to different independent smaller retailers like local yarn shops. There are so many of their products that just make good sense. So the binder has these different pages that you can order to change in and change out based on your need, right? Whether it's holding like there's like little accessory pages, needle holders, crochet hook holders, all the above. And they come in, I believe, a mini, a regular, and a jumbo size, as well as quite a few different colors of leather. Thread and Maple recently posted a couple of new products, which I immediately zeroed in on this one. And I covet it on 2 fronts. Number one, it's pink. So I'm like locked in. The other is that the ingenuity of this product and the amount of heartache that this product could have saved me over years had it existed and I had it. Wow. This is their needle cozy. And so this is it's like a long rectangle sort of shape. The whole idea is that if you are knitting with DPNs or interchangeable needles or like a circular, you need to stop rather than using those like little silicone end like stoppers that we all love. They're cute. You slide your needles into the holes, and then this one also has a dual purpose of it kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like it sandwiches your sock. So if you're knitting a sock and you need to put it down, especially if you're using DPNs, you know, you've got 3 or 4 needles on the go. This, you like open it and it magnetizes and it holds your sock shut, which I kind of love the idea of. And then you just pop it in your bag and go. This product is currently sold out. I do have a notification going for when it comes back in stock. I just thought it was absolutely gorgeous. This one is a little bit pricier. It retails for $69 Canadian. That is from the Thread and Maple website. All right, we are clipping along. The next gift I wanted to talk about is one that I have not purchased. This one specifically, I've purchased something similar. So one way that I determine if people in my life are knit worthy is I think about, will they take care of this product and will they wash this thing appropriately? Or are they just going to trash it and my hard work is all for naught? A few holiday seasons ago, I purchased a bunch of, again, something similar, not these exact ones, from a retailer. They were on clearance and I stuck them in with the hand knit socks I made. And these are little travel soap packs. So these ones are from the brand Soak. They have, I believe, 4 cents. And I've probably used all of them. I've been using Soak for quite a few years to hand wash my hand knits. And so not only do I like the quality of the soap, it's technically a no rinse soap. So what that means is you fill your basin, your bucket, your sink, whatever, with a tiny bit of soap, like a little tiny size, tiny amount, little grain of rice bit, and then cool water and you soak your items. Now for me, I still rinse them. I do also do like a scrub when it comes to my socks, for example, but that's because I'm picky and I've worn them through many seasons. Like they're rough. So again, this is technically marketed as a travel variety pack if you were to take your hand knits traveling. Like if you packed your hand knits with you and wanted to wash them on the go in a hotel or wherever you're staying, this is what it's for. I don't think I've taken my hand knits on vacation. I primarily go away to hot climates. And Something like my socks, I probably wouldn't wash to come home. I'd probably just pack them back up. However, if you are someone who would die at the thought of bringing home dirty laundry and absolutely need to wash your hand knits while you're away, great option. The travel packets are also a great idea if you aren't entirely sure what scent you want, or you want to try out a different one without committing to either like the 30 ml bottle or the 100 ml bottle. Great idea. This is another item that I currently own and I currently cannot find. It comes with me all everywhere. It's definitely in one of my project bags somewhere. I just need to figure out which one. And these are the Fiskars traveling folding scissors. So these are TFSA approved folding scissors that you can take traveling with you and you can take on the plane in your carry-on luggage. I don't know what it is, but I always need my scissors when I'm flying. Like, I can't finish a project to save my life at home, but something about being in the air, instantly all my ends need to be cut. So like I said, I've had these for a few years and I've taken them to multiple destinations on multiple trips. They fold up really nice and small. The ones that I have are the classic Fiskars orange. Like, they're kind of uggo. I think these lilac ones are way cuter. Up until I went to go make this list, I actually didn't know that Fiskars made lilac ones. And I think these are a great idea for a couple reasons. So I am someone who, for the most part, when I travel, I do not check luggage. I am a carry-on girly through and through. I don't want to pay to check my luggage, all right? I grew up when it used to be free to take your luggage on the plane with you or to check it, all right? I remember that time, Air Canada. This whole like $75, $100, $150, I remember that time. Number two, I do not want to wait for a carousel for 45 minutes after I've just had to spend like 5 hours in a flying tin box, breathing in 300 other strangers' bad breath and mouth germs. Like, when I get off the plane, I want to go. I do not want to spend any more time in the airport. I hate waiting for my luggage. I mean, it's like Murphy's Law that you're always waiting for like one more piece. They never come at once. They never come early. There's always something. I hate it. I could honestly go on and on for the reasons that I hate checking my luggage, but that's all to say I typically take a carry-on, and thus having safe scissors that I can bring on the plane is tantamount. I also don't want security to confiscate really pretty scissors that I own. Like, we all have some really, really cute ones. I have these really beautiful, like dark metallic, they're like rainbowy. They're unicorns. I don't want security in Mexico to take those, okay? I love them. So these are a great option. And again, I sort of look at it as like, if for some reason I get a grumpy agent, am I really going to be brokenhearted by the loss of these kind of ugly $12 scissors? Probably not. I don't purchase them with that intention, but the last item I'm going to talk about is not one that I have used personally. However, it's kind of been a cult favorite around the like knitting and crochet world for a long time, and that is Lee's removable highlighter tape. So if you utilize your local library, or the knitter in your life utilizes a local library or borrows pattern books, you don't want to mark those up. Especially too, I think, like, even if I own the book, I don't want to mark it up. Like, some of these are pretty and, well, they're like up there. They're pretty and they're expensive. So if I just want to highlight one little bit, I don't want to ruin my book, especially if I want to maybe sell it down the road or gift it down the road. No one wants that. Sometimes I just need a little tiny bit highlighted, whether it's one line, whether it's the stitch counts at the end of every couple rows, whether it's a special stitch technique that I'm not familiar with that the designer has included at the beginning of a pattern. Although there are quite a lot of varieties online of other removable highlighter tapes, I'm not familiar with them, and I am familiar with Lee's and I know people who've used it. I know retailers who sell it. So I feel like that in itself sort of dictates why I'm including that and not other brands. If there are other brands of removable highlighter tape that you know of, definitely let me know. All right, I feel like I've lived 500 lives today. I have so much to do on my to-do list. Recording this episode is absolutely not on there at all, but I think this is a clear manifestation of how I am mismanaging my time and avoiding responsibility. So I do have all day tomorrow off work to pack and clean and do all the other things that I need to do. But for right now, this is how I've chosen to spend my time with all of you. Or, the 12 people who watch these. I don't know. So that concludes my short and sweet fiber-friendly gift guide for the 2025 holiday season. Additionally, if there are items that I completely forgot from this list that you feel are an absolute must, definitely comment down below. If you've tried any of these items and you love them or you don't love them, comment as well. I'm speaking about my recommendations, but just because I've had a good experience with a lot of these doesn't mean that maybe other people found them valuable or good quality or whatever. So I'm always open to hear feedback on that. And comment below what you're making. What are you making for others? Are you making anything for yourself? Or even if you want to talk about your shopping, like if you were shopping, are you done your holiday shopping? If you are not currently subscribing and you think I am an okay person to listen to gab about absolutely nothing, I would love for you to be a subscriber so you don't miss out on any of my other completely random and nonsensical videos. If we're not already, I'd love to be friends on the interwebs. I am on Ravelry at Audrey Hill and on Instagram at Fire and Fiber Makes. Fiber spelled the American way, Fiber. I hope this video finds you well. If no one's told you today, you are loved, you are cherished, you are powerful, you are incredible, you are valuable. Please make sure that you drink enough water, do your monthly breast exam, pet your dog, whatever you need to hear. I hope you found it here, and I hope you have the best day. So take care and happy knitting.